Hi everybody, I'm Adriana from SweetSister.love. Thank you so much for being here. This is for the students of Starting Over. I am a very proud student of Starting Over. I know exactly what it is to be down and to pick yourself right back up. And sometimes it's a long process, but however long the process may be for you, there are tools that you can use so that you do not ever lose yourself. And this is a reality. Sometimes we lose ourselves. I know because I lost myself for a long time. And I had tools. I was a yoga teacher already. I was using EFT already. I was reading the books and I was changing my mindset. But something hard hit me. And the hard thing that hit me hard. And sometimes there is nothing left to do but to surrender and to let go and to finally face those wounds from so long ago that maybe we were trying to work through, but with a different intention. And once you allow yourself a total breakdown, you can have the most beautiful breakthrough, because a breakthrough happens through a breakdown. You know, sometimes we want to have a breakthrough and theorize. We want to theorize the books we read. We want to theorize our practice. And there are so many wonderful things that are said. People are so poetic and wise. And we may hear things, we may pick things up from the ethers and feel like, okay, yes, I want to also embody that. But we never really get to embody it. We sort of like keep it in our head and we know things. But you get the most out of what you do with what you know. You know that saying that says it's not what you know, it's what you do with what you know? That's the case when it comes to us getting over things, us healing, us becoming the best version of ourselves, us realizing our wildest dreams, having success in the ways that we've always wanted. And sometimes we are pleasantly surprised, so pleasantly surprised by what can come if we allow the meltdown, if we allow the breakdown, if we completely fall apart, if you give in to your vices, so to speak. You will get an answer. You will reap some sort of reward, and then you get to decide whether that was what you were looking for or not. And it wasn't until I hit a total rock bottom, no one was coming to rescue me. There was no one left to ask for help. And I had to pick myself up by any means necessary. And I looked around and there were things that didn't align with who I was as a person. And so I had to try a new way. And I had to humble myself. And I had to be willing to do things all over again, start from scratch. And I'm so grateful that I did. You know, we're not here to be perfect. We're here to practice what we know to be true. And when you live out your truth, it comes with challenges. Life comes with challenges. I am no longer delusional about things being pretty or looking through rose-colored glasses anymore. Now I know I'm going to have tough times. I am going to be challenged. My body will change. My health will change. My mind will change. People I love will die or go away, or I'll have breakups. I'll have heartbreaks. Like, all of this will happen. And inside of all of that, I get to choose who I am and who I become and what I evolve into, always, no matter what. And now, it's not about talking about it, it's about being about it. And I want so much for us to be about the convictions, to be about that moral compass that we think about, talk about. Let's move like it. Really embody those things as the truth and not let anything, absolutely anything, steer us away from who we are. I have two brilliant sons. I love them so very much. They're very different people, and they are living out very different paths. And a lot of times, you know, people will say that your children come to be your teachers, and they are. You know, I have sort of like the white wolf and the black wolf, right? And they each stand at your shoulder, or, you know, the devil and the angel, so to speak, which is a play on words because one of my sons is named Angel. But the point is that they come to show you aspects of yourself, because, you know, it's impossible that your child won't be like you, you know, and it's impossible that you won't have a child that sometimes you sort of like have resistance with. And it's impossible also that your child won't adopt those beautiful virtues about you too, and that you won't have moments with them that are like friendship, like best friendship. And so I'm really blessed to have children who, you know, they're not children anymore. I say my children, but they're not children anymore. I'm really blessed to have sons who can mirror back to me all the ways that I am and that I am not. And in every aspect they are teaching me. And it is, if I'm willing to see it, it is love. You know, sometimes the resistance we're met with is love. The redirect, the so-called rejection is love. If you trust yourself and you trust your guides, you trust your angels, you trust God above, then everything that comes across your path is for you. And there are some really painful things about life, so I don't say that statement lightly. But if we're willing, we can see everything as a blessing. You know, even the things that don't work out for me, work out for me. And this is a way of thinking and a way of being that serves us. So as someone who used to get high a lot, used to smoke a lot of weed, as someone who was looking for a quick fix, an easy way, as someone who felt like a victim most of the time, and who felt alone and sad, and who literally was abandoned by certain people. Now I look back on that and I have forgiveness in my heart, because I was truly suffering. And I never ever want to go back to that. It's such a gift because I've made it through, you know, and I don't take that for granted. I know that I have to watch my step every step of the way, because we're vulnerable. I'm vulnerable. But I am grateful for the tough stuff, because without that tough stuff, I might still be in my delusion. I might still be pretending. I might still be looking for love in all the wrong places. And I'm not anymore. I know that I have to love myself best and first. So practice with me if you'd like, okay? And I want you to know that all of your tools work if you work them. You know, tapping might not be your thing. Yoga might not be your thing. Writing might not be your thing. But you have a thing. There is something that does work. Some people like to work out. Some people like to dance. Some people like to paint. Some people are good with numbers. Some people can spend the day helping others and they come home renewed and refreshed. So you have to know what is your thing. What is that thing that you really enjoy, and what do you want to pour your heart and soul into? What do you want to do? How do you want to be? And what I love about tapping is that, number one, it's free. I love things that are free. As a woman who is single and happy and starting over again, who's not a rich person, you know, I'm not a rich person. I never was a rich person. And so I really appreciate tools. I'm looking for the right words. I really appreciate tools that are a part of me. Like, I am the tool. I am my instrument. And I like that with my two hands, I can cause something. And it's beautiful, to have stones and gems and candles, and it's beautiful to be able to clear the space with smoke medicine, and there's a big trend towards plant medicine, and I don't want to say that I would never, and I don't want to say, that it's good or bad or wrong or right. That's not my place to say. But I can say that even without any of that, without any of those things, you are still your best instrument. You yourself, just as you are. And I believe that fully. I believe that in any circumstance, you have the right to your joy. Joy in any circumstance. And this is the commitment, that I will find a way to let God's grace into my world, even in my worst moment. And let's just take a deep breath on that. You can close your eyes or you can keep your eyes open. It's totally up to you. And just take your time. Some people, one of my mentors, she says sometimes tapping feels too much, feels like very agitating. And so sometimes you can just touch the points. You can rest your hands on the collar, or you can gently caress yourself and allow yourself to feel. Because for some of us who have been traumatized, or if for one reason or another you have had the necessity to check out and sever yourself from your own body, meaning like disembodied, in order to become embodied again, we have to do so in a way that is safe. And if this is agitating, it will be difficult to find that safe space within yourself. And ultimately, EFT and tapping, what it's designed to do is to help you feel, to get in touch with what is actually there. But that's not for everyone right away. Sometimes we have to ease our way in. Sometimes we wade into the water. We battle with the white waters crashing at our shins and crashing at our body. You have to go through some resistance in order to find the calm of the ocean, in order to find that space where you can float. You have to move past that obstacle. And it's not a good idea to do so in fear. And so I just want to give you that option that you can caress the collarbone. You can keep in mind that sometimes we are already touching those meridian points. Like when you're shocked, you might go, or, and you are already in the medicine when you do that, because the body knows. And if you trust yourself, a lot can come. And one of the things that my teachers, I never finished the certification course. There were some things that happened in that institute that I was not in alignment with, or rather that did not. It's not that I wasn't in alignment. They didn't feel aligned with my belief system. And so I dropped the course. But I did learn a lot. And it was a really beautiful and valuable program for me. And these days, I'm a believer that we don't need certifications. You don't need another training. You don't need another life coach. Are they good? Absolutely. Do they have value? Heck yeah. Do you need it? No. And some things take priority over others, and that's hard. It's hard to say, I cannot go through that certification program because I need to pay my bills. I need to put food on the table. And that's the reality of our lives sometimes. And can you go on to manifest amazing and beautiful things? Yeah. But even your manifestation has a step 1. And it's okay to be in step one. Okay, that's all I'm saying. All right, I'm gonna take these off for a second. So allow yourself to learn the points, and it doesn't matter which order you do them in, okay? It doesn't really matter. You are creating a safe space for yourself. You are allowing things to integrate slowly, for things to make sense until, it takes as long as it needs to for things to make sense to us. You can know something and you can learn something, but that doesn't mean that you get it. And you have to allow for that moment to be like, I got it. Oh, wow, I got it. And that is unpredictable. Sometimes it happens right away. Sometimes it takes a really long time. I do, when I lift my arms up, I do like to make space in the underarm. I feel that it gives a lot of space for the lungs to expand, okay, for the heart to be open. And so bring the elbows up. You might feel that your arms get tired. Don't resist that achiness in your arms, okay? Don't quit on yourself. Everything passes, and nothing is forever. Okay, and that's important when we're dealing with our pain, to remember that this is not forever. This pain is not forever. Okay, when it feels good for you, you can start to notice what's happening in my body. Maybe you want to take a piece of paper and write it down. I feel a lot of tension in my neck and shoulders. That's what I'm feeling, so I'm going to write it down. The tension in my neck and shoulders. I would call it a 7.5. Pretty high, 7.5, by the way. Okay, on a scale from 1 to 10, 7.5 is pretty high. Today is the full moon. It's July 10th. And it's a good day to commit to your future. And your future is long term. So what you do today determines the outcome for many years to come. And so if you are committing to a new lifestyle, to a different mindset, if you are dedicated to your starting over, if you are dedicated to your moving forward and doing so with grace and bringing in abundance and blessings into your life, the small things that you do every day have a really big effect. And so I want for us to be clear on that today is the perfect day to start. And I'm so happy to be here recording this video. Okay, I'm just gonna close the book. I'm not gonna look at that score that I gave myself, but I am going to give you some affirmations based on what I feel, but you can replace my words with your own. So for me, I feel a lot of tension in my neck and shoulders. There are things that I'm afraid to do because I'm afraid I might hurt my neck and my shoulders. I'm tired sometimes from my day job because we carry a lot of bags. And I feel that that contributes to the pain in my neck and shoulders. I remember being a kid on the cyclone in Brooklyn. If anybody knows it, drop it in the comments. And the cyclone is an antique. And I was on the cyclone as a teenager, and two people seated behind me thought it was funny to yank my hair while on the ride. So when it went up, your hair would usually go flying back. And so they thought it was so funny to be, kind of like outrageous and loud and and exaggerate. And they would lean forward and grab a hold of your hair. I'm saying it this way because I think it's something that they did regularly. It happened to me once and they injured me. And I played it off. I acted like nothing had happened when I got off the roller coaster, but I was already in a lot of pain. I probably should have gone to the doctor. I probably should have told the attendant, hey, the people sitting behind me yanked on my hair and now I'm in pain. But I didn't. And it creates this shame for myself. I feel like a coward. And when I think about the pain in my neck and my shoulders, I feel like a coward. When I turn to the side, I can feel a stopping point. Like there's no moving beyond a certain point. It's not as strong on the left side, but it's very strong on the right. I'll tell you more about that story another time. I was with my sister and one of my best friends, and I didn't tell them. And a lot of times things happen to us and we don't say anything. A lot of times it doesn't feel safe to ask for help, to ask that someone stick up for you. Or we suffer in silence. It's not a good thing to suffer in silence. It's also not a good thing to never feel like you can count on someone, that someone has your back no matter what. That there are people protecting and defending the right thing. What are the right things to do? You know? I feel like a coward most of the time. And it's an old wound. It's a very old wound. And I'm ready now to seal that gash, to place a salve, to give some medicine, some ointment to what is still open and possibly infected or scarred. Maybe scarred is a better word. I feel like scarred is a better word. I don't feel infected, I feel scarred. And there may literally be scar tissue that I am contending with today because of something that happened a really long time ago. And when I saw these two people get on, I knew it was not a good thing. I had a feeling. But I didn't have the habit of obeying that feeling. You know what I mean? It's those red flags we ignore. And I made it. I survived. I'm here. I'm fine. Even with my neck pain, I'm fine. I do feel that tension intensifying a little bit on the right side, and I'm okay with it. Sometimes I notice at night, falling asleep is difficult. I can never get the pillow just right. I can never find a position at night that is just so that I can release and relax. And so sleeping, I used to be a great sleeper as a kid. But sleeping can be a challenge. Getting comfortable can be a challenge. But I am really proud of myself for tapping through this now. And even though I've never really talked to anyone about this, I'm putting it on a video. This is like the most vulnerable, because who knows how many people will see it. Maybe no one will see it. But I'm not gonna hide anymore. I'm not gonna hide what hurts. I'm not gonna hide that I have been afraid most of my life. I'm not gonna hide the fact that I picked up a lot of bad habits along the way to try to cope. And that in my coping, I hurt myself more than I helped myself. I am glad that I have the consciousness to see that, to be aware, and to say, whoa, 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 whoa. Not anymore. Not today. And I just want to say that when you hit a point that, all of that is a release. So please don't be afraid. Please proceed with caution, with care. That sense of safety is really important. I feel safe right now, tapping about this and recording and sharing. I feel safe. And I feel ready to release this. And so I can do it. But if at any point you don't, it's okay to stop. It's okay to self-soothe. My mentor says it's okay, to hold yourself this way. And sometimes the body really knows. My system works, she said. My system is working. And I have reached a point where I'm a no. Like, no. Right? And so I can cross my arms and I can, with my body, speak. I can soothe myself and say no. I'm gonna stop here. And I'm gonna wait for this to pass. I'm going to wait for my breath to feel like relief. Even though I'm a coward, I'm learning to be brave. Even though sometimes I feel like a coward, I don't always feel like a coward. Even though sometimes I feel like a coward and I know that I'm not a coward, all the way a coward, it's still pretty intense that I'm a coward. Even though I'm a coward and I feel like a coward, I know that that's not the whole truth. Because if I was a coward, I would be a coward all the time. And I'm not a coward right now in this moment. I'm not a coward when it comes to apologizing for things I do wrong. I'm not a coward for going after what I really want. I'm not a coward for my children. I'm not a coward when I really believe in something. I'm not a coward. But I have been afraid. I've been afraid to get beat up. I've been afraid to be hit. I've been afraid to get into a fight. I've been afraid to be a victim of violence and bullying. And that's also an old wound.